Are you looking to break into the social media management industry, but you're wondering whether social media managers can really make those six figures fast? Then today's video is for you. In today's video, I am revealing the truth about how much social media managers actually make. Now, I am sharing my real receipts from my journey going from beginner to pro social media manager. Hey, my name is Mil and I own a multi-six-figure social media agency, and I now help social media managers do the same. If you're new here, make sure to grab my free roadmap to becoming a six-figure social media manager in the description below. Now let's dive in. How much do social media managers actually make going the freelance versus the corporate route? Now, before diving into how much social media managers make, you have two options and a decision to make. Do you want to go the freelance route and become self-employed and start building your own social media business? Or are you going to get a full-time corporate job as a social media manager with a company? That decision will determine how much you can actually make. Now, according to Indeed, in the United States, a full-time corporate social media manager will make about $58,000 on average as an annual base salary. Now, you do have to take into account that it really depends based on your location, how much, experience you have under your belt. All of those things will determine how much money you will make in your full-time job as a social media manager, as well as the company you work for, right? Now, on the other hand, you can take the freelance route, and there are many benefits to it, as I personally wanted to take that route. So I can work on my own schedule, and there's no salary cap, and there's lots of benefits, of course, to working for yourself. But don't be fooled. With that being said, the freelance route is a lot harder because so many things come to play. But if you feel like you're cut out to go the freelance route, you can make a lot more money than you would in a full-time job if you decide to do so. And you can work from anywhere at your own schedule, make your own rules, you name it. So let's dive into my journey and how much I actually made as a social media manager freelancer. So how much do social media managers actually make in their first year? Now, I first started working on social media clients when I was a senior in college. So this was actually back in 2019, and this is when I wanted to start prepping for my social media business, and I started to take on free jobs, so a volunteer position that I found through volunteermatch.org, and I found an animal shelter nonprofit in Hawaii that needed a social media assistant. So I jumped in, I applied, I met with them weekly to do the work where I would analyze their social media channels. Now, this was a great way for me to get experience, get the testimonial, and get the confidence to actually start taking on paid clients. So not long after, that's when I started to interact and let people within my circle, family and friends, know what I'm doing and seeing if there was anyone out there that would need my social media help. That's when I found a family friend who actually had a business and needed social media help. That's when I started working with my very first paid client for about $350 back then, where I would manage their social media, and it was more like a paid internship almost, since I had no experience. I was just getting started and really getting paid for my time, right? From there on, I started finding leads through Facebook groups, again, more networking among my inner circle, but also attending in-person networking events, getting referrals of people that I already had taken on, and that's when the ball started rolling. So even though I made no money in the first couple of months with a free position that I took on, in that first year I made about a little bit more than $30,000, which is really obviously not bad, and it's already pretty close to that average annual salary that a full-time social media manager would make in corporate. Now, the only thing you do have to take into account when you work for yourself, you also pay taxes and you do have overhead costs. So think about social media scheduling tools, invoicing systems, all those things that need to come out of your pocket. Now, if you're still looking for your very first social media management client, then make sure you check out my other video where I share how to get your first social media client within 1 day. So how much do social media managers actually make in their second year? So it's 2021 right now, and this is when I started really only working with paid clients. I started increasing my rates a bit, and I actually had an invoicing system, Wave Apps Invoicing, which I do recommend if you're starting out and need to invoice clients. So I could go back in and track how much I made then. So in this year, I started on taking on more clients. My rates were anywhere between $500 and actually $2,000, depending on the scope of work I took on. So if I had a lot of channels I was managing for someone, it will get closer to the $2,000, and other smaller clients will be around $500 most of the time. So in my second year as a social media manager freelancing, I made $80,000, which I'm pretty proud of looking back, because that's quite a bit. And looking at the corporate full-time salary, that's almost double the salary you could make being full-time. Again, you will have overhead costs, so those are all things you do need to take into account. And as you continue to grow, you're likely having to hire people. So this was actually a time where I started to look into hiring people, a virtual assistant, and getting some social media help, because you are going to be in a spot where if you want to take on any more people, you're going to have to hire team members or you cannot grow, okay? So that is important to take into consideration. If you do want to keep growing, then you need to hire people, and otherwise you're again going to have that cap where you simply can only do so much as one person. So again, second year, while I had to make many sacrifices in the very beginning, I was doing a lot of side hustles when I wasn't making money yet. Now in my second year, I'm making double the amount of the average base salary of a social media manager in the United States. Now, if you want to read my full story on how exactly I got started and the side jobs I was doing, then I will link that article in the description below. How much do social media managers actually make? The more you make, the more expenses you shall have. So let's dive in. This is my third year now. I actually moved into an invoicing system from Honeybook, a CRM, which I highly recommend, and you can actually find a 50% discount code in my description below. So I'm using Honeybook, and this is where I capture leads, I get automatically paid, etc. So looking into my third year, I now hit my first 6 figures. Yes, it's a milestone we all want to hit. And this is when I was in high demand. I didn't have a problem attracting clients. I got lots of inbound leads from Instagram, building my personal brand, referrals. I was offering a pretty good service at that time, but this is also the year I started to realize I can't do everything on my own anymore, and I'm just getting very burned out if I'm not getting the right help. I did have a team in place that was helping me. They were also freelancers, but I was still struggling quite a bit. So in the mid of this year, that's when I started to hire an operations and business strategy company called Clover Collective, who you might have seen on my Instagram quite a bit. It's with my good friend Heather, who we now partner with, that can help oversee my team, client management, and things like that. So what you need to know is the more money you make, the more money you're going to invest back into your business. Whether it's outsourcing more work, hiring more people, you're going to naturally have more expenses. Now, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but it's important for you to keep into account. Do you want to grow big, make a lot of money, and have more cost? Or do you want to stay small and have less cost? So that is something to think about here. Because in my third year, I made here about $115,000 in my social media business. Now, the services I provided to get to my 6 figures here, it was mainly social media management, similar to now. I did a couple of social media audits for cash infusions and consultation where needed. At the time, I was also offering hashtag banks and little things like that to make money. And People requested a lot of those types of services with me, so I wanted to offer them. And at times I would even outsource these things so I could still make money and take more people on. Now, if you want to know exactly how we onboard clients in my social media agency, then make sure you check out this video here where I give you a step-by-step on how to onboard clients. Now, how much do social media managers actually make scaling the business? So right now I'm in a position where I've properly scaled my business. We have a team of around 5 to 7 people that are in the day-to-day agency tasks involved with our social media management clients. Social media management is still the biggest service I offer, and it's just the one that's in most demand. So right now, the agency generates about $35,000 to $45,000 a month. And then of course, our biggest cost is staffing. So hiring people to do the work, the team needs to get paid and things like that, which looks at around $15,000 that we would spend on the team, on staffing and operations. And that doesn't take into account yet software and other things that we would need, right? So again, scaling into an agency, there's lots of money you can make running an agency, and especially when you have a personal brand like myself alongside of your agency to generate money in different ways. So the packages we offer to clients right now is they're no less than $2,500 a month. And we take on clients anywhere between $2,500 a month to over $10,000. So it really depends how much of their marketing they outsource to us right now. Since we do offer a lot more than social media management, we offer PR, email marketing, everything that drives the needle to meet the client's goals. Now, while you typically will have more expenses as you grow bigger as a service-based business, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. For myself, having a team in place and having operations done correctly allows me to take days off, allows me to take a vacation, while I know everything is taken care of. And I was never able to do this when I just hit 6 figures. Even though I had a team, I was still stressing a lot that things would get done the right way. Now, if you stayed all the way till the end, then you now know exactly how much social media managers make or can make. And I hope you really enjoyed the transparency that I showed you in this video so that you know exactly what that looked like in each step of my journey. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them below. I'd love for you to subscribe, like this video, and I will see you in next week's video.